Should you buy Micron stock before June 24th? Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. So we are getting closer and closer to June 24th when Micron stock is going to report its earnings. Now, this is going to be such an important earnings for Micron because the stock has gone up parabolically over the past few months. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on Micron stock now that it is a $1 trillion company. Recently, just yesterday, Broadcom AVGO had its best earnings ever, and the stock price just dropped 10% right after, bringing down the whole chip market, the AI market. The question is, what will Micron need to do in order to have the valuation or the expectations met? So we're going to talk about that in this video. Hopefully you enjoy. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like button and let's get into it. Please read the disclaimer. So I saw this article, should you buy Micron stock before June 24th? History has a clear answer. And actually, this was an analysis from Yahoo here. And I said, you know what? We could go over what Yahoo thinks. How does Micron typically perform? But you know what? I said, I want to ask AI. You know, it's the AI age. Let's ask AI. So right now, Micron is sitting at, actually pre-market just opened up and it's sitting at 952, dropping another 4% after dropping 7% yesterday. It did had a comeback, so it was down more on the opening, came back a little bit, but then last 10, 15 minutes, we saw a little bit of sell-off. Now pre-markets, actually the Asian markets are not doing good. And pre-markets, the chip stocks and the AI stocks are not doing great. You can see here on the right-hand side, a lot of red here right now pre-market. This could shift, this could flip, but what we're looking for right now is what could potentially happen going into this 20 days from now, 3 weeks from now, what could potentially happen for Micron. Okay, so right now Micron has gone up so much over the past year or so, right? Basically since the dip here in April of 25, Micron is up over 1,000%. Right? Even now, right? 1,500%. So we have had earnings previously, right? To get the earnings back on, you have to go here and then you go here and then we can see, right? So we have had previous earnings, and actually, interestingly, after earnings, the previous earnings, we did see Micron stock drop, but then after the dividend, interesting, right? After the dividend date on March 30th, it continued to rally. That was interesting. Previous earnings before that, it actually popped up and continued to rally after that. And the earnings before that, it had a little bit of a dip and then rallied off of that. So right now, I asked ChatGPT in this instance, I said, you're an expert in stock market. What are we looking at? Okay. So basically we're expecting around 33.5 to 34.3 billion, EPS 19.2 to 19.8, all these strong HBM, high bandwidth memory demand commentary, gross margin near 80% and guidance showing continued growth into late 2026 and 2027. I think that these are important to beat and probably will be beaten, right? But this one, the last one, is the most important because right now, Micron stock has gone up so much that we need to have a very good outlook in order for it to continue to go up. Like I said, Avgo, Broadcom, right? They had record earnings, but they still dropped because it wasn't a home run. It was a double, right? The market already knows HBM production in 2026 is essentially sold out. AI memory demand remains extremely strong. Micron is supplying memory for next generation AI systems, and long-term AI contracts are improving visibility. Because of these facts are already known, the stock reaction will depend mostly on guidance, not historical numbers. Exactly what I said. Right? So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. We're going to start out with the good one. The good one. Actually, you know what? Let me move to the other side. I think will be better. Yeah. What happens in the best case scenario? So we get a blowout quarter, plus 15 to 30%. What happens? Revenue above 35 billion, EPS above 20, raises guidance for 2026, announces HBM sold out through 2027, raises gross margin outlook, gives extremely bullish commentary on AI infrastructure spending. This would reinforce the thesis that AI memory demand is accelerating. Many analysts already believe memory is moving from a commodity business to a strategic AI infrastructure. And potential move 15 to 30%. If MU is trading around 1,000 before earnings, then we could potentially see it go up to 1,300. This is the scenario most long-term bulls want. Probability 30%. Actually good probability, right? Scenario 2, beat earnings, but guidance only matches expectations. Now, this is what happens many times, especially in a stock that has gone up so much. You have a scenario where the earnings are beaten, like Avgo, but it only matches expectations and the guidance is iffy. Okay. So this is the most dangerous scenario, ChatGPT tells us, and it's true. Revenue is 34 plus billion, EPS over 19, strong quarter, but management says demand remains strong, growth is moderating, and margins are stabilized. Nothing bad, nothing amazing. Stock reaction, investors say great quarter, but we already expected that. And the stock sells off anyway, possible move 5 to 15%. This is the classic sell the news reaction. Probability 40%, so it's more likely that something like this happens. We saw this recently, by the way, with Nvidia, where Nvidia had amazing earnings, maybe the best earnings that they've had ever, but the stock, because it rallied so much and it wasn't a home run, we saw it pull back. Okay, so that's a possibility that could happen here for Micron as well. And listen, there's a lot of eyes on Micron because it's a $1 trillion stock now. It's gone up so much. Many investors are heavily invested in Micron. Many investors have made a lot. So their positions, let's say someone had 100,000, now it's $1 million. That's already, a significant amount. And so it's important for them that Micron does good. Good quarter, week forward guidance, scenario 3. And this potentially could bring us a 15 to 30% pullback. How much did Nvidia, in the weeks after, how much did it pull back? So around 10%. Okay. What causes it? Management says PC demand slowing, smartphone demand weaker, inventory rising, AI demand remains strong, but other segments soften. Analysts would immediately begin asking, have we reached the peak in memory pricing? This is exactly the risk many investors are watching, and the potential stock reaction could be a 15 to 30% pullback, even if earnings beat. Remember, expectations are already very high, probability 20%. And the last one, rare Nvidia-like moment, plus 40%. So actually, this is the best one. This is the dream scenario. Micron says HBM4 demand exploding, 2027 capacity nearly sold out, pricing power increasing, AI memory market much larger than expected. If investors start believing Micron deserves a permanently higher valuation multiple, then the stock could re-rate higher, similar to Nvidia experienced during an AI breakout. Possible move 40% or more over several weeks. Probability 10%, lowest. What we'll be listening for on the conference call that matters more than EPS. HBM demand, the most important question. Are they saying HBA demand remains strong or HBA demand exceeds supply by significant margin? Huge difference. And 2027 capacity. If management starts talking about 2027 sold out, multi-year agreements, prices locked in, this is extremely bullish. Gross margins. Margins tell us whether Micron has pricing power. If margins continue expanding, very bullish. If margins flatten, investors may worry peak profitability is approaching. And AI customer commentary. Mentions of Nvidia, hyperscalers, AI clusters, cloud demand will matter significantly. And these are the cases that we just talked about. Net conclusion, actually, ChatGPT is very bullish on Micron over the next 12 to 24 months because HBM demand remains extraordinary, AI memory supply remains constrained, 2026 production is largely spoken for, AI infrastructure spending has not shown a single sign of slowing. However, for June 24 specifically, the biggest risk is not bad earnings. The biggest risk is Micron delivers excellent earnings, but not excellent enough to satisfy a stock that has already become one of the biggest AI winners in the market. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. We'll talk about it as we get closer and closer to the date. Right now, I wanted to make this a Micron pure video. We did talk about Nvidia a little bit, but if you're interested in more like broader stock analysis videos, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash the like button, and we'll see what will happen with Micron in the next coming weeks. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.